Good morning, dear students of class 8. Welcome to the English online learning class. Today we are going to take up lesson 5 from your English reader Honeydew, and the lesson is titled as The Summit Within. And this lesson is written by Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia. Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia was a member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in the year 1965. So in this lesson, he is telling us how he felt when he was standing on the highest point in the world, that is Mount Everest. Now let us hear his story in his own words. He is describing in the story how he climbed the Mount Everest, and then he is also telling us the more difficult task, which was climbing the summit within. The lesson is titled as The Summit Within. That is, there is some peak inside us. So how he was able to climb the most difficult task of climbing the summit within. How he was able to achieve it. Now let us read the lesson. Of all the emotions which surged through me as I stood on the summit of Everest, looking over miles of panorama below us, the dominant one, I think, was humility. So he had climbed Mount Everest, and H.P.S. Ahluwalia was full of emotions, full of feelings. As he was on the topmost peak, on the top of the world, and he was looking down below the panorama, the view of the wide area of the world below him. And what was the most dominant, strong feeling at that time when he was standing on the top of the summit of Mount Everest, looking down at the world? How did he feel? What was the dominant emotion? Was he full of pride? No. The dominant emotion at that time was humility. He felt very humble. The physical in me seemed to say, thank God, it's all over. As far as his physical strength was concerned, he thanked God that now he has achieved it and it is over, because he was extremely tired. He had lost all strength. However, instead of being jubilant, there was a tinge of sadness. He says that instead of being jubilant, very happy, because he had achieved a great success of climbing the Mount Everest. But instead of being very happy, there was a tinge of sadness. There was a trace of sadness. There was something he felt unhappy about. And what was that? Was it because I had already done the ultimate in climbing? Now he is thinking, why did he feel sad? Was it because he had achieved the ultimate in climbing, the final point in climbing? He had done his best, and therefore would be nothing higher to climb. And now, because he had achieved the ultimate, there was no other peak to be climbed. And all roads hereafter would lead down. And definitely because he had climbed the highest peak, now all the roads would definitely going to lead him down. These were the different emotions, that different feelings that was coming to his mind as he was standing on the highest peak of Mount Everest. By climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. When you climb the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed. You are full of, overjoyed by a sense of joy, happiness, and you also are full of thankfulness. You feel grateful to God. You feel grateful to the team and rest of those who have supported you. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. So this is what the writer is sharing. A person who has climbed Mount Everest is not the same again. He's a different person altogether. And this is what he had shared about his emotion that overpowered him when he was standing on the topmost peak of Mount Everest. And this emotion was humility, humbleness. As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit, the summit of the mind. So the writer says that after climbing Mount Everest, I think I should also try to mention another summit, another peak, which is the summit of the mind. And this summit is no less formidable. It is difficult and no less easier to climb. The summit of the mind is equally difficult to climb and to achieve. Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion had gone. So the writer is getting down from the Mount Everest. And he says that once the physical exhaustion had gone, means the fatigue you feel on climbing the Mount Everest. Now this has gone. I began asking myself the question why I had climbed Everest. So the writer started asking himself, Major HPS Ahluwalia, he asked himself a question. What was the need for him to climb Everest? Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? By day and night, I was thinking only of climbing this summit. What made me climb this summit? It was already a thing of past. Means I had already climbed it. So it was a thing of the past. Something done yesterday. With every passing day, it would become remote. Means he would not be remembering it so nicely as he was when he was climbing the Everest. And then what would remain? Would my memories fade away slowly? Then with passing days, I would forget how I decided to climb Mount Everest, what difficulties I faced on the way, and things like this. Would his memories, they would fade away slowly with the passage of time? Or would he remember all this as fresh as he is remembering now? All these thoughts led me to question myself as to why people climb mountains. And because these thoughts were coming to me again and again, I decided to ask myself a question. And this question was, why people climb mountains? It is not easy to answer the question. The simple answer would be, as others have said, because it's there. Some people say that they've decided to climb mountain because it is there. It is to be climbed. It presents great difficulties, great challenges, and man takes delight in overcoming obstacles. And this is the nature of man. Man likes to face problems, difficulties, challenges in life. The obstacles in climbing a mountain are physical. What are the challenges in climbing mountain? Definitely, the first one is physical. A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence, and willpower. Endurance, ability to do something which is difficult. Endurance, sticking to something which is difficult, or sticking to one's efforts. And willpower is determination. So all these qualities combined together help you to climb a summit. I repeat, endurance, persistence, and willpower. The demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating as it was for me. And the show of these great qualities like endurance, ability to do something difficult, persistence, to stick to one's efforts, and determination. All these qualities, when you show, they definitely give you a lot of excitement, lot of happiness, and it was the same for me. I have a more personal answer to the question. What was the question? The question that the writer asked was to himself was, why do people take delight in in climbing mountains? Why I had climbed Everest? This was the question that the writer was asking himself. Then the writer says that there is one personal answer to my question. And this answer is that since my childhood, I have been attracted by the mountains. I had been miserable, lost when away from mountains in the plains. Whenever I was in the plains, I felt bad. I was lost when I was away from the mountains. Mountains are nature at its best. If you want to see nature, you see in the mountains. They are nature. Mountains are nature at its best, in its best form. Their beauty and majesty pose a great challenge, and like many, I believe mountains are a means of communion with God. He says, one reason was I was, since childhood, attracted to the mountains, because I found mountains are nature at its best. And there's a beautiful view, and at the same time, mountains stand with all its majesty, and they pose lot of challenges, difficulties. And like many other people, even I believe that mountains are a means of communion with God. Means a kind of close relationship you are able to form with God when you are in the mountains. We'll stop here and we are going to take up the next part of the lesson tomorrow. So now you are going to read this lesson and come up with your problems and give your problems in your WhatsApp group if you have any. So happy reading, students. Wish you all the best and take care.